Hey guys, Jules here for a part 2 of wines and cheeses. If you guys caught my last episode, we talked about white wines and cheeses. Hopefully you guys got a chance to see that. If you haven't, before you watch this one, please go check out the last post to get to know what to pair with softer cheeses. This week, as promised, we're going to talk about what to pair with red wines. So let's get right into it. What we have here in front of me, first of all, when we talk about red wines in the last episode, I mentioned that you want to pair white wines with softer cheeses because the acidity cuts through the fat and makes it the combination just beautifully. And the saltiness in the cheeses will make the wine less dry, less acidic, and less tannic. With the soft cheeses, you want to make sure that you're doing the higher acidity white wines or white wines in general. The red wines, we're going to talk with the harder cheeses. So what do I mean by harder cheeses? We have some of my favorites here and some of the ones you typically see in a charcuterie board. So we're going to save that for last. We have the Italian crotonese, which is an aged, very salty cheese. Actually, if you have some of this crotonese and you just shred it on your pasta, woo! I'm telling you, it's something else. What we have here is the Spanish manchego. We also have, this is actually a semi-soft Jarlsberg. We'll talk about that as well. An aged cheddar, so 18 years. So aged cheddar is going to be a little smoother and a little softer, right? Whereas just like a typical cheddar is, you'll have that rubbiness, that bouncy. We consider it a harder cheese. But an aged cheddar will do as well. It has more refined flavors. And my favorite, the king of all king, Parmigiano Reggiano. You can also do Grana Padano. However, I like the pure Parmigiano Reggiano right here. So this is what we talk about, and there's many more. Obviously there's thousands of different harder cheeses out there. I've listed some of my favorites. If no one's had manchego, as a side note, Spanish manchego is, especially aged manchego, is absolutely incredible. So I'll describe it for you. It has this slight saltiness, creaminess, and it's not overpowering. It's got this beautiful cream finish, nice coating, and it's just, and the longer it ages, the more flavorful it becomes. But it's one of those cheeses where if you don't like the saltier Parmigiano Reggiano, the crotonese, or some of the cheddars can be overpowering, or the goudas, or the smokiness. If you just like, just gorgeous creaminess with semi, you can see here, it breaks relatively quickly. It doesn't shred into pieces either, so it's considered a hard cheese, or semi hard, I guess. The manchego is just a must go to. So hopefully you guys go try some of that this weekend as well. But let's get right into it. The reason why, so again, as mentioned, these are, think about the matching of flavors we talked about in that last white wines and cheeses. These cheeses will be bolder, stronger, full flavor. You'll have the umami flavors of in some of these cheeses, like the Reggiano. And the umami flavors, if you guys recall, best way to describe it is mushroom earthiness, right? So, and then you have the gorgeous aged creaminess of the cheddar. Manchego, as mentioned, the saltiness, which comes really across it. So these are going to be powerful in the mouth, right? Equally as important is to pair wines. What I've chosen today is hopefully you guys catch the weekend wine. We talked about this baby right here, this Amarone. So this is extremely full-bodied, mouthful of dried figs and dried raisins. This right here, the Reggiano and the Amarone, is my favorite combination. The saltiness, the umami, and then you go right into the Amarone that has the dried figs and the dried raisins, and it's a charcuterie board in your mouth. So you have to try that. But fuller bodied, again. the wines are very bold. The wine is going to, the cheeses are very bold. The wine is going to be very bold. What we also have here is a Chianti Classico. Everybody knows Chiantis. Great choice, good acidity, slight peppery finish, usually cherries, strawberries, raspberry flavor in the Chiantis. The Sangiovese grape is likely one of my top 3 grape varieties. Good acidity. This is a great wine with pasta sauce. One of the best. Never will disappoint any of your guests. Chianti Classico. Again, this provides a good balance where the saltiness and the boldness of the cheeses will bring out the cherry flavors. We talked about last week with soft cheeses that have rinds or mold skins, Camembert, Brie. If you're serving cheeses that have that rind skin, and people love to eat that, we talked about how it could make tannic wines taste bitter, almost metallic. So if you have, and you guys should try this because you need to know what that experience is. Have the skin of the Camembert with a fuller body tannic wine like the Amarone or any other, or Barolo or something that has high tannins in it, and let me know what you think. It shouldn't be the best pairing. But for those ones that have the rind and the skins to the cheeses, I mentioned in the last episode with white wines that you want to go for a more fruitier red wine. So I have Beaujolais right here, Beaujolais Nouveau. You should catch my episode on Beaujolais Nouveau as well. Great insight on what this is all about, when it's released, and so on. But this is from the Gamay grape, very fruity, cherry as well, raspberry. And provides good balance with some of the rinds that will tend to provide a metallic taste with the, this is a very low tannic wine. And the last choice here is a California Pinot Noir. So La Crema, I think in one of the episodes I talked about La Crema Chardonnay. This is the Pinot Noir. I always have these available. Amazing wine, beautiful cherry flavors. Like the fruit in this is just incredible. Again, if you're having the rinds or mix of cheeses, as usually is the case, you're going to serve Camembert, and you're going to serve some of the saltier ones, some of the soft, some of the cheeses with the rinds and the skins. A Pinot Noir is a safe choice. Chianti Classico is a safe choice. Fruitier wine is good as well. And then if you like bold, if you're that bold person and serves bold cheeses here, like the Parmigiano and the Crotonese and the Caciocavallo, like those are just incredibly pungent type of stronger cheeses, then go for the Amarones, the Barolos, Brunello di Montalcino, some of the Bordeaux blends, obviously, the Syrah, Shiraz, Tempranillo from Spain is great choice as well. Good acidity, great fruit. But this is what you should expect. So you're matching flavors, you're matching the boldness of the cheeses. If you would dare to try a Parmigiano Reggiano with a Pinot Grigio or a white wine, let me know what you think. Please provide the comments. This is going to overpower, I can't stop eating, overpower the white wines. That's why we typically don't recommend the bolder cheeses with the white wines, because they'll overpower and they'll make the wine taste really flabby. And this is where your guests will say, well, I don't like this wine. The reality is it's not the wine, it's the combination. So be aware of that. So great cheeses, and like I said, if you're going to do, in the last episode we said if you're going to do a combination or a really full complete charcuterie board, you want to choose some harder and soft cheeses. You want to change the flavors, the saltiness, the more umami. The Parmigiano Reggiano is always a great choice. Cheddars. Manchego is my favorite. Put that on the board. And then you want to do the Pinot Grigio or the Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc is my favorite choice. Pick 2 out of those, and then you want to do a Chianti Classico is going to be my first choice. And then choose, if you want to play it safe, Pinot Noir and Chianti Classico is a safe choice for 2 reds. So 2 reds, 2 whites, charcuterie board, and your guests will fall in love. You want to be more bold, and if there's more cheeses that have rinds, more fruitier, the Pinot Noir is still a good choice for the rinds. and more bold flavors of the fuller body and the cheeses. If you're going to serve only harder cheeses with much more aggressive flavors, go with the fuller bodied wines. So hopefully that gives you guys some insight. Again, it's really all about matching a balance between the two. If I had a ricotta, or if I had a taleggio or a camembert here, and I decided to drink this Amarone, or decided to go with a Pinot Noir, it's that balance won't be. I mean, you're gonna go with a delicate cheese with a fuller bodied wine. The wine is you're gonna get the wrong flavors out of it. You're tasting bitter, metallic. I guess we'll tend to say it's too acidic. Some of the things that I usually hear in some of the events I did, it's that combination. So you want to just flip the wines, give them a white, and say, if you are a soft cheese lover, stick to your whites. If you're a hard cheese lover, stick to your reds. I personally like to serve 2 glasses to my guests, 1 white, 1 red, and I say, please experience both. Try one or the other. Let me know what you think. It's always and you don't have to be knowledgeable on the wines and the cheeses, and just stick with the standards, and just let your guests tell you what they think. But just realize that everything depends on the pairing. In the next future episodes, I'll talk about when to know wine is bad. So at least you can, taste the wine, and when your guest says, well, this wine tastes bad, you can describe and tell them what they're tasting and what they're eating, or what they ate before they tasted the wine. And you can tell yourself whether the wine is actually bad or it's that combination. So stick to the standards. I always like to play it safe. However, I always like to kind of try different things. So it doesn't mean that you can't have soft cheeses with red wines. That experience won't be the best. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Please provide your comments. And that's it. I mean, that kind of recaps the red wines. So quickly to go over the 2 episodes: soft cheeses, rule of thumb, white wines; harder, more aggressive cheeses here. Red wines, fruitier wines with some of the rinds and some of the skins that on the cheeses that people like to eat. I personally just like to get the inside of the camembert. I'm not a big fan of the rinds because there's more umami flavors, right? So again, the umami flavors will lend better to something that is more fruity. And just kind of experiment with that, and let me know what you think. And that's it. So next episode will be the more pungent cheeses, the blues, the gorgonzolas with the sweet wines. It's going to be a very interesting episode. Get a feel for what to pair, especially if you're putting those on a board. We'll talk about that.